Yeah, I've got this feeling, gotta get to you. And
welcome back to the life of Sky with Ntsei-Sky, so life content, aka Petty Cash, Petty Money, Petty Cash. And today I am coming with a story time. I feel like I don't do enough story times, and I feel like I have a lot of stories, but the problem with my kind of stories are that I feel like a lot of them are just not appropriate enough to put on YouTube like that. Hey, like I have a family at home, guys. I have people that can fetch me in real life about the stories that I tell. Hence I always opt to tell them on Instagram, you know, where they can just kind of disappear. But today I'm going to come with a story time about high school. Before we get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. 15,000, I'm manifesting you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. Please don't just watch, please share my channel with your friends. Let's run those numbers up. Are you guys impressed with how many we are here? We could definitely be much more than we already are. And let's get straight into the story time. This story is about a high school that I went to. I went to this high school called King's Court. It's in Theyre, just outside Zanin in Limpopo. Let me actually give a backstory. How I came about to find myself in this school is that you guys are aware that I've been kicked out of school before. I went to this school in grade 8, but it doesn't exist anymore. That's the thing. So I went to this school in grade 8, they kicked me out, and then sharp my life went on, and then back in grade 11 I went back to the school that I was at in grade 8. I feel like my stories are always just so touch and go, but yeah, I went to the school. I went back in grade 11 to the school that kicked me out in grade 8 sharp. So now I'm having a normal school life, you know what I mean? It's grade 11, life is going on, life is great. In the middle of the third term, we started seeing like the school that I was at was a very strict Christian school. No kissing, no drinking, no, I mean normal school rules of course, but you're not allowed to even be standing with the boys. Like if they can see you twice or 3 times in one day standing with the same guy, at some point they're gonna call you in for conversation. You know, it was very conservative. Everything that we did was always very Christian based. All the songs we sang were always Christian vibes. If we brought music, it would always be screened as to what kind of music this is. Baba, sharp. So then towards the middle of the third term, we just started seeing like our teachers not coming to class as much as they used to. Our school was based like on a farm, so they wouldn't come to school as much as they used to. Sometimes we'd even go like half of the day without seeing majority of our, like Boma, three teachers not coming. And because it was a small school, like that could be like quite a number of subjects that you're not having that day. Obviously as a school kids we don't mind, but we're obviously starting to wonder what's going on. It turns out that like the school that I was at, there was some turmoil with the people that lived on the farm and the people that own the farm. So it turns out that it was also a Christian farm, and it was started and owned by like missionaries, but it turns out that these missionaries were not really like missionaries like that. Like I feel like all my stories are just so complicated. It turns out they were not missionaries like that. They were basically frauds. So I even know them, like they would come and visit the school every now and again, visit the farm every now and again, but like it turns out that all the money that like the farm was making, the school was making, like they were just using it for their own like activities. They were living large in other countries, always traveling. Like it was like they were traveling for missionary work, but they were always just living it up. So that's the kind of life that they were living. So after a while, I think someone saw statements and saw that the owners of this farm were like defrauding us basically. So that's where like all the turmoil came from. The people on the farm, the teachers not attending like classes anymore, and things just started getting very sus, you know, and we were kind of left in the dark. Then the rules, like because people started realizing that the whole farm was being frauded, our teachers just started being relaxed. They just were like, play whatever music you want to play, jiggy, it's not that deep. Like at some point we could just do whatever we want. Like the Christian rules were not like enforced like that on us anymore. Like, you know, we could just do whatever we wanted to do, because people ended up like some started leaving the farm, stuff like that. And in turn, because they were defrauding the farm, like it was affecting the school. It was some fraudulent stuff. Like they even contacted them like via Interpol, like the owners of this farm. They were wanted via Interpol. One of our teachers was also like, they have a qualification in law, so they were also working with like officials. Like I just think it was very serious here. I don't know why. I don't know why people don't know about the story. My drama teacher, we had drama, not as a subject, we had drama as a curricular activity. So our drama teacher at the time was Tselane Tambo, the daughter to O.R. Tambo, Tselane Tambo, the sister, whatever. Whoever Tselane Tambo is related to O.R. Tambo, whether the daughter, whatever. She was my drama instructor. Like it was actually a very serious thing where I was attending, guys. That life that I was living, it was a very serious one. Okay, so they were contacted via Interpol, like the owners of this, like at some point, because they caught them out in their lie. These owners just disappeared. So obviously, like the people on our farm, they contacted the authority. And our farm, like the people that stayed on the farm, they were from all different places in the world, from like Denmark to Australia, like to Spain. Like there were people from everywhere. So like people were now putting their heads together on how to find these people, guys. It was a very serious operation. It turned out that like our school was closing down at the end of the year. Like in the next coming year, the school would not exist anymore. Even till this day, when I'm telling you the story, the school doesn't exist anymore. I can't believe I've lived this life. So it would definitely see the end of the academic year, but we had to start, like literally the whole school had to start applying to go and attend new schools. Obviously the grade 12s, like they didn't count because they were going to varsity, but from grade 11 going back, we all had to look for new schools. So obviously like the grade 8s, everyone is applying, grade 10s are applying, but I'm in grade 11 at this point, and we all know you don't change schools in grade 11. And if you're gonna change schools in grade 11, you don't change schools at the end of the year. By the time, and the thing is, this had been happening for a good like month and a half. So by the time we're finding out that our school is finally closing down, we're finding out the middle of term 3, towards the end of term 3. So like imagine finding a school grade 11 for term 4. So now obviously I call my parents. All the parents are confused, like what do you even mean? Like I know my parents were so frustrated. Like I just got back to the school the beginning of the year. Now the end of the year, the school is gonna close down. It's not gonna exist anymore. Like what are the odds? Some people, like they were allowing kids to go home to like physically prepare for like to go to new schools, and I also went home. I think term 3 holidays, because they also did say that they were going to speak to other schools in the surrounding areas, and like our principal was going to go and explain to different principals the situation that we were faced with, and if they could take the students under certain circumstances. So I know my parents were kind of finicky about the kind of schools that I attend. Another thought was me going to Ntsei-Sky. My brother went to Ntsei-Sky, and that was a whole other experience. So my parents did not want me to go to Ntsei-Sky. So guys, I had been hopping from one school to another school to another school, looking for a school to accommodate me at this point, because the end of the year is nearing. We thought of Stanford. I remember I went to go write a test, like you know those schools where you get in via writing a test. I went to write a test at Calvin College in Burgersfort, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Mpumalanga. You guys know Burgersfort, there tends to fall under 2 provinces. I went to go write the test. I was accepted at Calvin College. Last time I checked, there was also another school around Burgersfort in Mpumalanga area where they wear red. I remember me and my mom went there to that school, and when we went, it was during school hours. We get there to the office, we asked to see the principal. The lady's like, the principal's not in. Like she was so snacks. Like my life is on the line. I don't need people to be rude. She was so snacks. We said we want to see the principal. The lady's like, meet the principal for what? Ish. It's like, my babe, this is not the story for us to narrate to you. Like, so, but like we need a space. Then she's like, what grade are you in? I'm like, I'm in grade 11. She's like, we don't even, like, it's not even an exception. Our grade 11s now, they've already started the grade 12 curriculum. Well, damn. Okay, kitty shit malume, get knife malume. So then I'm obviously panicking because, guys, this is not the first time I've been a school dropout. Who is this piece of shit? Rural boy, school dropout?
Who the fuck is this piece of shit? rural boy, school dropout. Cause is he the one who's taking care of the...
He was talking about me. I was the one taking care of the booties. I've already been a school dropout in grade 8. Now I can't be a school dropout in grade 11 again. Like, I had to find a school. It was getting very concerning, very worrying at some point. And then I remember at some point, we considered taking me for homeschooling because I think at that point, guys, I had just been in way too many schools. I just changed schools way too many times, and it was honestly very exhausting to keep finding schools, especially at the end of the year. So I even remember we found a homeschool. I was going to go and attend there. It was going to be like a casual thing. I don't know, like, I was low-key looking forward to being homeschooled because I think even me at that time, I was just getting very exhausted because changing schools in other grades is not like changing schools in grade 11. Like, it's so much more intense, if that makes any sense. So I was very open to being homeschooled because at that point it also meant that I would get all the attention that I needed in order to pass the year. Lo and behold, our principal had spoke to the principal of the school, King's Court. He explained the whole situation, one Christian school to another. They understood and they were like, they are willing to take in students from our school. So me and my other friend, we went to the school. Shout out Letso, hey girl. So we went to King's Court. We didn't apply, we didn't do nothing, we just entered because it was a favor. Our lives were on the line. We're in grade 11, so they accept us. Obviously by the time they accepted me at King's Court, like, Calvin College got back to us much later, and I was already in that school because I needed to be in a good school as soon as possible. Rocky, it's nice, new girl. Of course, I'm used to being a new girl all the time, so that's not a problem. I get there, it's a nice school, very small like my old school, but slightly bigger than the small school that I was at. I settle in, I pass my grade 11 because I'm just a fine babe, smart babe, educated kind of babe, you know, any kind of environment really. I really just be eating it up. Grade 12 comes, and then there's another guy that comes to the school in grade 12. I have to find a name for him. Let me say Simon. Simon now attends our school in matric. He also comes from a well-known private school in Polokwane. He attends our school because they kicked him out of his own school. Sharp, I'm gelling, you know me, social girl. I be mixing and mingling. We become friends, we click. I can say that this Simon guy, he was very problematic. If people think I'm problematic, that guy, he was the drama. Anyone that I went to high school with can tell you that guy was problematic. But we were so close. I don't know why, like, we were so close. We were like besties. We did everything together. Well, we told each other everything. So he would always get in trouble at school, and my problem is me. I think my other sin in high school was that I was hanging out with people that were engaged in the wrong thing. So then I would also get in trouble via association. Not to say that I was never doing anything wrong. I was definitely part of the crew, you know, Ntsei and crew at the back of the class. I was part of them, but sometimes I was really getting in trouble because of what my friends were doing. He would like pick on other guys. I would say he was bullying, like, shame, he really was bullying other children in the school, like the grade 8 boys, just picking on them. He would just make the grade 8 boys twerk, you know, like all sorts of weird stuff like that they didn't want to do. And he would chase them around the school if they didn't want to twerk or do some whatever kind of funny stuff that he made them do. Once we get to hostel, we leave the hostel, we go down to Devil's Cliff because, you know, rebellious kids, you know. So we would get our stuff to our hostel, then we'd go down to Devil's Cliff, go hang out at KFC, just wander around this neighborhood called DVK. Or DVK is the abbreviation for Devil's Cliff. He was always getting in trouble for various things. If it was not picking on students, he would be giving teachers a very hard time. Even in hostel, it would be another thing, he's picking on people. You see, we had a Valentine's ball, and then the Valentine's ball, I don't know, like our Valentine's ball, I think our classmates just disappeared, you see, because they want to know where every student is going to be sleeping, what their arrangements are. So me and my friend, we opted to sleep at the hostel. This guy and the other guys, they were like, no, we're gonna go book at a guest house. Oh, we're going to go to a place called Ngranje. Evan, okay. So while they were at their own guest house doing their own things, we were obviously at school doing our own naughty things. So those are the kind of things that, like, because we're friends with him, he stays in hostel, so he's not staying at hostel, he's at his own place. We would get in trouble via association. Not to say that I wasn't getting in trouble and a troublesome person myself. I definitely was troublesome, but some instances I definitely was catching smoke for no reason, my babes. Around August, there comes a time where I think our school had just came up to here with his behavior, and he was so, like, one thing about Ntsei, I believe in friendship. I don't believe in indoda, but I believe in friendship, guys. It comes towards the end of the year, they get very tired with his behavior, and then there's talks about he's gonna get kicked out of school. And I was like, he's gonna get kicked out of school? I mean, nah, guys, like, he just got kicked out last year. He can't get kicked out again, matric, guys. No, like, I was like, dude, I can't imagine going to school and not seeing my friend there, because there was a period of time where, like, he had another friend, they had the same name, like Simon and Simon. Him and his friend, they had not been at school for a while. We wouldn't see them, so it was like, oh, they were suspended. Sharp, after being suspended, we want to see our friends at school, they're not coming, or they're still reconsidering whether they want to have them back at school. So now it's like, oh, they're gonna get kicked out. I'm like, no, I said not on my watch. One thing about me, I don't think I acknowledge that I have pure audacity. I start asking my friends, like people in my class, because also it's a very Christian school, it's a small school, very easy to get like in trouble for anything. And the thing about private schools and public schools don't kick you out in any grade if you get in trouble for anything. Private schools, on the other hand, private school, even if it's grade 12, they'll kick you out. They don't even want to know if you're in grade 12. This is your lost job. They don't want to know that one. They will kick you out. So I don't know why I was also doing what I was doing. Sharp, I was talking to my friends. I'm like, how do you guys feel about, you know, Simon being kicked out of school? Also my classmates are like, no, we don't like it, I'm like, yeah, I'm with power, with krach. No, guys, I don't like it. I feel like they should never ever have done that. They should honestly find another alternative. It's literally his last year. They can't do that to him. I'm the one with energy. I now go to other people. I talk to people in the hostel. I'm like, don't you guys miss him? I'm on a campaign. Don't you guys miss him? Up and now I want to recruit people to feel what I'm feeling. Don't you guys miss him? It was fun. Look, school is boring. Some people were like, yeah, we miss him. Some people were like, no, we don't. I know some guys in my class, they really didn't frost on him, so they really didn't want him back. They were like, yeah, he's cool and all, but like, we really would be fine without him. What do? I'm like, you know what, nah? I'm gonna make a petition. What do I know about petitions? Sharp your girl, the flyest one of them all. I stand up, I just take a paper. I'm like, guys, I remember I was in math. I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna make a petition. They can't kick our friend out of school. No, not with Simon. Sharp, I write name, I write signature. You know, I'm the first one. Name, signature. Name, signature. I'm like, guys, let's sign this petition. I'm now recruiting. I think my other classmates, they genuinely missed him, but I don't think they missed him to that point where it's like, we must do something about it. It's like, dog, we're obviously gonna miss him, but geez, like, let's just lose it, you know. I think that's how it was for everyone. But I was full of fussy. I was passionate, guys, you know. Sharp, I'm recruiting. I'm like, guys, just sign this thing. When they see how many people want him back, they're not gonna expel him. I really thought it was a democracy. I really thought I was doing something. Sharp, everyone's signing, even the people that didn't want to sign. Me, and I'm a persuasive girl. People that didn't want to sign, they were even signing. I'm like, guys, look, you see Mang sign. They'd be like, oh, who signed the petition? I'd be like, no, this person signed, okay, then even me, I'm gonna sign. I remember I even left math in the middle of the period. I went to the people in math, said, guys, sign this thing, our friend can't leave. I went to the grade 11s. I went to the grade 11s. I went to the grade 10s. I went to the grade 10s. I went to the grade 9s. I went to the grade 9s. I went to the grade 8s. Everyone signing. The way some people really wanted them back. Some people signed 3 times. Like one person signing 3 times. And that's not really how a petition works. Like, it has to be one person per signature. So like, I got people from grade 12 all the way to grade 8 to sign this petition. I had a lot of signatures, but some signatures were like, some people signing twice, signing 3 times, you know. So I know some of the grade 8s, some of the grade 10s, the grade 9s, because they know how our school is. They're like, no, and say, like, what happens if we get in trouble? Aren't they gonna, like, isn't this gonna get us into trouble? I'm like, no, don't worry about it, girl. You see, if we get in trouble, Temba Mina, I got us. I'm not gonna let you guys go down. One thing about me, I won't let you guys go down. Not with my eyes open. I wouldn't do all of this if my plan was to take all of you guys down. I know what's at stake, guys. Trust me. I actually think I'm a delusional person. Sharp. I get all the signatures. So now people are like, you know, have you ever seen when someone is doing something kind of like dangerous? I could see how my classmates were looking at me like, how many signatures did you get? Okay, no, sharp. Like, you can see they're giving that look of dog. If this thing crashes and burns, hey. But me, I'm caught up in something. Me, when I put my head to something, I don't want to know. At the end of the day, I had a lot. Like, our school is not that big, so I had a lot of signatures. I managed to convince some people that didn't want to sign. Me, myself, after I got all those signatures, I even waited for people to come back from sports. Hey, sign this thing. Guys, I was waiting for people after netball. Yay, you're gonna sign this thing now. My friend can't leave. At the end of the day, I'm like, sharp, I have enough signatures. I folded. I even go to the office, guys. I don't even send someone. I go to the office. I go to the receptionist. I see that the principal's door's closed. I asked the receptionist, where's the principal? No, he knocked off. I'm like, ish, damn, I wanted to give it to him self, but it's fine. Why did I ever want to do that? Like, how was I gonna be able to stand my ground if, like, I just gave it to him face to face? Like, I just wonder what was I thinking? The principal, he had already knocked off. His son, on the other hand, he didn't, like, go home. So I'm like, oh, hey, where's your dad? He went home. I'm like, okay, cool. Can you please give your dad this paper? He's like, is this the petition? I'm like, yeah. Already he's like, yo, dude, I don't know about this. I'm like, hey, you don't have to know about anything. I'm sending you give this to your timer. The rest of my day goes, he takes the paper with him, you know. Now I'm carrying on with my hostel life. So now people are asking me, oh, what happened to the petition? What happened to the petition? I'm like, no, I gave it to the son. He'll take it to his dad. So now people are like, aren't you scared? What? So now when I'm sitting with more people, I'm realizing that actually now what I did, what if it's something big? Hey? Like, now people are actually making me feel bad. Like, I'm actually starting to feel it on a very serious level, because now people are making me feel somehow. I'm like, hey, a couple of you guys are starting to make me feel bad. And okay, you guys don't have my back, but it's fine. But you guys make me nervous. Sharp, the next morning comes. Now I'm starting to have anxiety because of all the stuff people were telling me. Don't forget, I just came to the school now I didn't even apply to be here. They did a favor. Like, I'm in the school study favor and I'm moving like this. So I'm starting to get nervous. Like, damn, what if they tell my parents? Then what if they kick me out the same way they're trying to kick out my maid? Like, what will I do then? Because I'm already in the school study favor. Like, I don't know what will happen to me. I see the guy. I'm like, did you give your dad the letter? He's like, yeah, I did. So I'm like, well, what is he like? He's like, I don't wanna lie and say he really didn't look impressed by it. Yo, I just started looking on the spot. I'm like, yeah, here, okare. I think I did something. Sharp, I lost it. We're having our math period. Halfway into our math period, our Bible teacher comes to our class. He calls our math teacher. She goes, they're having their little Afrikaanse conversation there by the door. And then I can just see my math teacher nodding, and then they look at me and they're like, yeah. And you can see the one I sit in the front row. So I look back, I can see everyone is looking at them, looking at me. Someone said, Ntsei, I could just feel Riano is going down. He's like, my Bible teacher calls me, hey Ntsei, can you come here? The whole class went silent. Like, I could feel the eyeballs burning me. Like, I go outside. Then he's like, oh, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine, and you? Also, I also really didn't even fuck with our Bible teacher like that. Lena, he had my snacks. So he wasn't my kind of guy. So he's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. Like, just get to the point. He reaches in his pocket. He takes out my petition, crumples it. So I hear that you're the one that made this petition. Yes. He's like, oh, okay. So you want your friend Simon back in the school, I'm hearing. I'm like, yeah. Like, he's just like a grand oak, you know what I mean? Like, I just think he's really dope. We don't have to do him like this, you know? Like, he's like, I see. He's like, the principal wants to meet you. I'm like, okay, that one is not a problem. I can do it. Then he's like, also please get every person that signed this petition in the hall during break. And I was like, sorry, like, can we not do that? Like, I even asked him, I'm like, can we just not do that? Like, can we have this meeting first? He's like, no. Even when I was still speaking, he just said no. He said, after the meeting, every single person that signed this petition needs to be in the hall at break. I'm like, Kaori, some people signed 4 or 5 times. I get back in the class. The moment I open the door, everyone is just staring at me. Like, you can see they're waiting. Like, they want everyone that signed the petition in the hall at break. Everyone was like, you see, Ntsei, what did you do, bro? Look, now all of us are gonna be like, you know, when everyone just starts complaining. Even the people that didn't sign, they were like, oh yeah, you see, I told you guys shouldn't have signed. Look, now you guys are in trouble. Oh, Ntsei, why did you make us sign that thing? No, look, now I don't know what I'm gonna tell my mom. Like, everyone is upset, bro. Like, everyone is upset, and I don't even know what to say. I just kept reassuring everyone, like, no guys, but it's fine. Like, it's not that deep. Look, they can't take all of us out. If we're more than 50, let me tell you, we're not all gonna get in trouble. Most true, we're not gonna get in trouble. I'm telling, like, I was reassuring everyone, but even me, I'm just like, if my own classmates, not even the whole class, if my classmates that I do math, if they're reacting like this, sharp, the teacher allows me, because now I have to tell everybody. I get there to the maths lit class, I'm like, guys, everyone that signed the petition has to go to the hall at break. Ntsei, nah bruh, nah, I'm not gonna go. I'm like, that's the thing, there were names and signatures. Everyone is fighting me. I'm just like, you know what, bye, I'm not gonna stay here for this, bro. I go to the grade 10s, the grade 9s, the grade 8s. Everyone is, and you know also how grade 8s and grade 9s are, like, they just started high school, they think it's the end of the world. No, Ntsei! People were so angry, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just got the whole school in trouble, and it's all my fault. And like, guys, I'm literally calling everyone. Now break comes, everyone is going, people are awake, people are going to the tuck shop. So some people do rock up at the hall, and then the Bible teacher and the principal are in the hall. They're holding that petition. Like, this is not all the people, and say, go find them, break is not over. I'm going from classroom, I'm going into toilets, I'm going in the library, I'm going into the computer lab. Bona, I went to the tuck shop, the back of, you know, like, there's those people during break, they just hang at the back of tuck shops, classrooms. Guys, let's go, they're waiting for us. No, I'm not going there. And say, so now I just get back, I'm like, sir, dude, break is finishing, they're not coming here, let's just get this thing over and done with. Sharp, I get there, everyone, I can see everyone's just giving me the evil eye. Like, they talked to us about the behavior of my friend, the stuff that he was doing, because also some stuff I really wasn't aware. Like, you know, some things you hear them and then they just take them to the office. So some things I wasn't aware of how deep some issues were. But they were talking to us about how he was behaving and how the other boys, it wasn't him alone, it was him and 2 other guys. So, and I also really like the other guys. So hey, they gave us a long lecture about what we're doing is wrong. You guys shouldn't have followed Ntsei in doing all of these things. Like, I was really the villain that day, and I could feel everyone was just staring at me. Can you see when you're sitting in the first row and you can just feel these eyeballs here? Actually, if we're being honest, this whole issue with these guys, it's none of your guys' business, but because somebody decided to mobilize the whole school, we have to inform you guys. We just have to let you guys know that these guys are never coming back to school ever again. Yo, I just became so nar. I'm like, so after everything, they're not gonna come back. After all this effort that I put in, my friends are not gonna come back. They're like, no, they're not coming back, we've already expelled them, and they actually have already found schools. I was like, they're like, they've already found schools and they're only going to be coming here to collect their stuff during the week from hostel. Yo, I wasn't even understanding. Sharp, after that, they let the whole school off the hook, because I told them they were never ever gonna get all of us in trouble, the whole school in trouble. Girl, bah. So sharp, we got out of the thing, and they were like, oh yeah, we just want to commend Ntsei, but like, what she did was completely wrong, we're not going to be tolerating this behavior. Okay, sharp, the whole meeting ends, we go on with our life. Obviously, me and the people that we actually knew this guy personally, we were all sulking. The one girl was even crying. Like, we're just sulking the whole day, because like, dang. Sharp, I was very irritated with like the Bible teacher, because he was the one being snacks. We're in our Bible lesson, So now we're in our Bible lesson. He was making, you know, like when teachers throw subliminals during lessons, a Bible scripture about people that were leading other people astray. And I could tell that this Bible verse, this lesson actually, it's about me that was the one leading the whole school astray. Jiggy come the matric dance, while our Bible teacher's making a speech there at the matric dance. He's like, we just want to commend and say for her brave leadership skills. My friends, they came as the term went, they came to collect their stuff from hostel. I just think teachers really didn't understand me that well. So sharp, we were in our Afrikaans lesson, and then our one friend Simon, the other Simon, he came to greet us. So obviously we were all happy to see him, and it's a Christian school. We jump on each other, we hugging, we spinning. Oh my gosh! I go back to the class, my Afrikaans teacher is looking at me like I just took off my skirt and my panty. She's like, you know, that was so distasteful. You're just letting yourself, throwing yourself all over the boys. Our deputy head girl, she did the same thing. She was also happy to see this guy. They were hugging, they were even spinning each other. We did the same thing, but my Afrikaans teacher was cooking me. These people have a quarrel with me, dude. I'm honestly just a bad bitch, and nobody knows how to handle all of this. So yeah guys, that's essentially the story of how I got the whole school in trouble. I don't regret it because I was looking out for my friend. Hashtag ride or die, hashtag bestie, hashtag all the way to the grave.